The Portuguese city of Porto is a super fun destination for a city break, authentic streets, surprising sights, and great eateries. In Porto, you will find everything within walking distance of each other. After a wonderful city trip, I have listed my favorite spots in this Mediterranean city for you. Do you have a little time? Then this day plan for Porto in one day is a great guide to spend it as relaxed as possible without missing anything. There are not as many major attractions as in, say, Lisbon, but still there is more than enough to see and do in Porto. Want to know what? Then stay tuned and don't forget to like and subscribe. Breakfast in Porto. Breakfast in Portugal is usually austere. A sandwich with some olive oil and tomato and a cup of coffee are usually enough for the average Portuguese person. If you want to start your day more elaborate, you can find bakery Padaria Ribeiro, Praça de Guilherme Gomes Fernandes, 21, around the corner from the Clérigos Tower, known as the best bakery in Porto. This bakery serves the most delicious pasties de Bolem, a local delicacy not to be missed during your visit to Porto. In addition to a selection of sweets, it serves crusty sandwiches with savory fillings, and you can go here for a nice cup of coffee and a glass of fresh juice. Palacio de Bolsa. After a full breakfast, it's time to take a leisurely walk towards the Douro River. Just before you reach the water, you will come to Palacio de Bolsa, or the old stock exchange building of Porto. Palacio da Bolsa is definitely worth a visit. For about €7, you get a 45-minute tour of the beautiful halls of this former epicenter of Portuguese commerce. The Arab room alone is well worth the entrance fee. Palacio da Bolsa is beautiful and the tour is very informative. Lunch in Porto. After the tour, walk further down until you arrive at the Douro River. This beautiful part of Porto is a real hotspot, and this is where most of the tourists are found. You would expect prices to be sky high on the riverside terraces, but remarkably, a cup of coffee or a glass of Coke is quite affordable. So, should you be very thirsty, this is a great place to have a drink. Walk along the water to the Louis First Bridge and enjoy the beautiful view of Vila Nova de Gaia, the village on the other side. Via the bridge, you walk into this village and we recommend you to have a nice sandwich or some tapas here. The prices for the food are a lot lower than at the other side. For real budget deals, walk away from the water and choose an establishment a little higher up. Port House Croft. It's tempting to walk into any quayside port house after lunch. Still, it's worth heading towards Croft. This port house is a lot higher and can be reached via a nice steep path uphill. So it takes a little extra effort to get there, but it is definitely worth the hike. Because Croft is higher up, the terrace has a beautiful view of Gaia, the Douro, and Porto. For about €10, you first get a tasting of 2 glasses of Croft port, followed by a 45-minute tour of the port cellars. Afterwards, you get to taste 3 more glasses of port. The port is delicious, the view is enchanting, and your knowledge about port is brushed up considerably. Drinks in Porto. After your visit to Croft, walk back across the Louis First Bridge towards the Clérigos Tower. For a wide view, you can choose to walk back through the top of the bridge. The view of the Douro River from here is magnificent. Clérigos. Tower and dinner. Next, climb the 190-step Clérigos Tower for €2. The tower closes at 7 p.m., and if you go just before closing time, it's a lot quieter. From the top, you will have a great view of Porto during the golden hour, when the sun is a lot lower and the whole city is bathed in a golden glow. So don't forget to bring your camera. Descend and walk north to Rua de Picaria. At number 89, here you will find Pizza Burger, a trendy burger shop with an industrial look that is very popular among locals. The walls are lined with pallets, the tables and benches are made of raw wood, and the atmosphere is relaxed. The glasses of wine are huge and the homemade burgers are topped with unusual products. How about a burger topped with black pudding or avocado? Prefer a more traditional burger sandwich? That's no problem either. The burgers with bacon, cheese, and an egg are not to be sneezed at, and the fresh fries of sweet or regular potato finish it off. Port and wine tour with a guide. Do you enjoy learning more about port and the best places to taste port in Porto? Then a guided port and wine walk is a super fun option. You will take a walk along the Douro River and do as many as 10 tastings along the way in 3 of Port's best port and wineries. Of course, visiting a wine cellar is not missing during this tour either. Cruise on the Douro River. Something else that is incredibly fun to do in Porto is taking a cruise on the Douro River. You cannot miss this river when you are in Porto, as it really is the heart of the city. From the water, Porto looks, if possible, even more beautiful than from the land. During this cruise, you sail under the 6 bridges of Porto and see the city from all sides. Along the way, you will learn more about Porto and its main attractions. Guided tour through Palácio da Bolsa. Palácio da Bolsa literally means Stock Exchange Palace, and it is one of the most beautiful and important buildings of Porto. It dates back from the second half of the 19th century, and inside it is very impressive. Originally, it was built as the place from which trade was conducted in Porto, but in the meantime, it is only used for events. You can admire the inside of the palace on a guided tour. I loved seeing it, and especially in the Arab salon. My mouth dropped open in amazement. What a splendor! Unfortunately, you are not allowed to take photos here, so to see the Arab salon, you will have to visit Palácio da Bolsa yourself. Igreja de São Francisco. Porto's most famous church is undoubtedly the Igreja de São Francisco. Its nickname is also called the Golden Church, and it is not hard to guess where it comes from. A total of no less than 200 kilos of gold leaf was used to decorate the carvings in the church. What a monk's work! But incredibly beautiful to see, of course. Igreja de São Francisco is also on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Walking across the Louis First Bridge. If there is one thing you absolutely must do while in Porto, it is to take a walk across the Louis First Bridge. This bridge is the icon of the city, and from here you have great views of Porto and Vila Nova de Gaia. The nice thing about the Louis First Bridge is that you can cross it from both the bottom and the top. Along the freeway at the bottom is a pedestrian path to which you can walk straight from the quay of Porto. In addition, you can also climb a staircase next to the bridge to walk it via the footpath next to the tramway. Super cool because the view is different from both places. Visit the bookstore Livraria Leo. Livraria Leo is one of the most beautiful bookstores in the world. The ceiling is almost entirely stained glass, and in the middle of the bookstore, you will find a very special red staircase. Because of the fine details, the bookstore is extremely popular, and there is almost always a huge queue in front of the entrance. As a result, nowadays you can only enter with a €5 voucher that can be redeemed when you buy a book. Don't want to stand in line for an hour? Then be sure to buy your voucher online in advance and be there as soon as the store opens at 9:30 a.m. That was today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was informational and enjoyable. If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel to show us support. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.